and welcome to Gaming the System's Christmas episode. Yay! I'm wearing my Christmas earrings just to have snowflakes. You can't see them.
Wearing red.
I have a Christmas-like jumper.
Yeah, it's very festive.
You got a cold.
So before we kick off, I just wanted to ask everyone, what do you get if you eat Christmas decorations?
I know the answer.
Do you want to do it? I don't mind.
Is it tinselitis?
It is tinselitis.
Yes,
I know something with Christmas and dysentery.
That was that too. I suppose.
I was working on something about baubles, but it wasn't quite getting there. So.
Yeah.
Crimson baubles.
So, if anyone wants to, step in with a Christmas joke throughout the episode today, feel free. I haven't requested any preparation for this, so just dropping it on you. So we're looking forward to our festivities, at this time of year, which are so many ways by many different people. But first of all, I would like to know what our Gaming the System team have been playing recently, because we haven't done a check-in for a while. So I'm going to go to Alex first.
Well, it was recently my birthday, so naturally, with the money I acquired, I purchased a game, and that game is Bug Snacks, and it's great. And I've nearly finished it. I've got right to the final part, I think. It's more layered than I thought it would be. The characters each have their own little story arcs, and they have revelations about themselves and their lives, and how they should change their behaviours and things. And ultimately, there's quite a twist that I've just discovered last night as I was playing, so hoping to finish it off, hopefully by the end of today, if not tomorrow. But yeah, it's really enjoyable. It's really, really, really nice animation. Like all of the characters, they have quite furry textures. It's a bit like the Muppets, but that's really well done, and it's clearly utilised for PS5 as well, because the DualSense is getting all that haptic feedback for all the different things that are happening, and when you're walking on snow or water and in the sand and stuff, you can feel it. It's really cool. But yeah, it's a really enjoyable game.
Oh, that sounds really good. Yeah. I'm keen to play some more games that are sort of optimized for PS5, because so far I've only played Resident Evil and The Village, and that was really PS4, and nothing specific. So yeah, that's interesting. Matt, what have you been playing?
I've been languishing in Victorian London in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which all of a sudden, out of nowhere, has completely invalidated mine and Alex's last deep dive about our favourite top 3 Assassin's Creed games. The Assassin's Creed Syndicate has fucking stratospherically launched to the top of the list. It is an absolute joy to play. I told you it was good. That is, I think, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, that's what Assassin's Creed is. That's the peak potent Assassin's Creed, and it made me completely... I've been watching Ripper Street recently as well, just reflecting on what a beautiful and glorious city London is. And in particular, the architecture of railway stations. We have some of the most stunning, incredible, unique steel architecture in London. And it really, I feel the history of London being a lived-in centre of civilization for thousands of years. And just everything about it gets everything just right, and really confident and strong and bold, and just all of it. I've just been languishing in it. Utterly wonderful.
So would you recommend it as somebody I have played some Assassin's Creed, but it just didn't click for me. Would you recommend jumping in at that point, or yeah? I think
this is the peak of its maturity. You know, when you sort of things look really difficult for, it's like the difference between Roger Federer and a top 20 player. Sometimes some Assassin's Creed games can feel like they're in that like top 15 to 5. This one feels like it's hit that next level, and I think that it's one that anyone could come in and get something out of it, because it's a very complete game. It's not only because it's the next Call of Duty. It feels like it stands as part of a whole, but also on its own. So it's definitely worth a look.
Cool. Thank you for that. Right. Caroline, what about you? What have you been playing?
I've been playing slightly different things because I am in the middle of a long house move hell, so I don't always have access to my full PC dual monitor setup and fancy graphics, so I can't play the things I normally play basically at the moment. And also me and my partner have been staying in all sorts of odd places, so we've been playing a lot of these 2-player games that Steam had a bit of a sale on recently. So we played, for example, I had to check the name of it because I always get it wrong, TikTok, A Tale for Two. Which we loved. I have only 2 criticisms of it. One, the fact that you have to buy a copy of it each, because it does have to be played by 2 people. There's no way you can play it without 2 people. And so it seems a little, I don't know, money gouging to create. So it's like other 2-player games have done a thing where there's a friend's pass or something like that, and they didn't do it with this, and I would have been so that's why it took us so long to get hold of it, because we were a bit like, oh, we're really both going to buy a copy of it. And my other criticism of it is it's too short, because we finished it and we were like, that was amazing, we want to play more, and there wasn't any more. It was like, it was such a good 2-player game. It's brilliant. It was beautifully designed, the puzzles were really well thought out, everything about it was just really lovely put together. So because that finished, we've then started on the We Were Here games. And we started on the first We Were Here, which we finished pretty quickly. And then we got to We Were Here Together, which again had been on sale recently. So we both had a copy of it. And it's one of these, so you've both got a different puzzle screen. You're telling each other, it's like, right, I can see that there's a pipe over here with a red symbol on it, and there's an X raven over there. What have you got? He's like, I'm looking at a wall that has none of these things and stuff. And it's that sort of having to communicate effectively. And we've really enjoyed it. And it's been a great way to sort of pass a lot of time, because we've been in a horrible holding pattern waiting, and it's been a really good sort of distraction thing to do. And yeah, so highly recommend all of them. But as I say, TikTok A Tale for Two is just a little bit short. I would love them to make more of it.
Quick postscript.
I've just taken some notes then. Sorry, go on, Matt.
I have also, my room's being renovated. So just my sister's just graduated as in designing things. I can't remember what the
interior design.
Yes, interior design. That would make sense why she's redoing my room. She's basically redoing the house, and she's done an incredible job. But the one thing that was missing, I was thinking, my TV is looking a little bit small. I've got a 40-inch one, and so probably part of the reason I will never be able to buy a house is because I spent the rent's worth on a 65-inch monster TV that is now hanging from my wall, and it is transformative, utterly transformative to gaming experience. And I've also got a pair of 3D headphones that I can play some games with, and then that's another transformative layer, especially since somehow the PlayStation can make something sound as if it's behind you, coming in through your ears. So 2 brand new things that really do make gaming different.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. I think you might have to do us like a crib episode. Crib. What have I been playing? I stepped back into, I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing, kind of really enjoyed the run up to Halloween. Had a little Halloween party, which Caroline came to, and now I'm looking forward to Christmas in the world, which is hopefully all snowy and lovely. So I've been doing that, making lots of money so I can buy all the loot. And then
have you got all the new stalls yet? Have you
nearly?
Saved up money
We've got 3, because there was a big update dropped at the beginning of November. For those of you who don't know about Animal Crossing, so there was all sorts of new fun and games, and one of them was as a expansion to Halves Island, which means that you can get little stalls to access some of the irregular visitors to the island and some other fun stuff. So,
we'll talk about that in our deep dive. So
we will do. So I've been doing that, and I picked RimWorld back up again, and carried on with my community there, which was fun. And it's such a involved game. It's just every time, and I talked to my husband about it, and he's like, I couldn't play that game because he's such a completionist. He's just like, it would be so hard. He would be on pause the whole time trying to like micromanage every little bit, whereas I just run on fast forward, which is probably why I die so much. And then based on Caroline's recommendation, I picked up The Forest.
Sorry.
Which I'm not good at survival games. I have learned. It's extremely stressful playing it, and so I'm like tense the whole time. So I come away and I can hardly move. And B, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't get it. It's too big a world. There's too much option. I've made a hut. I've made a den. I keep calling it a den. I don't think that's the official term, but a den. And I made an SOS sign, and then I went out and found some scary monsters, and then I'm too scared to go anywhere. I'm like, oh. So I need to talk to you about that as well, Caroline, at some point.
Cool. We'll that out.
So that's what I've been. That's what I've been doing. But I haven't had a lot of time to game over the last few weeks, so I'm hoping that I will have more. Which segues me into my second question: is what will you be? Well, no, actually, let me bring it back a bit. So I think for some people, Christmas is a time that you get some time off, you get some time to chill, and you get some space. So do you find that Christmas is a time to play, to do more gaming, or do you find actually it's not a time for more gaming because we have a lot of social pressures on us in whether it's going out more, whether it's having to visit, whether it's having the pleasure of visiting family members and friends, or organizing Christmas presents or events or whatever, so it can be quite a busy time. So do you feel that it's a time for additional gaming, or is it for you a time for less gaming? I'm going to go to Matt first.
I was hoping you were going to go to someone else, but then you started Caroline. You just instantly made me think of, so I think about this often. I always go on rants about capitalism and how toxic and brutal it is, that it's only been inflamed by reading a George Orwell book today. I'll continue talking about him, how we are expected to do so many things. We have pressures from inside ourselves and outside ourselves, and we are trained to always think there's something that we should be doing because capitalism tells you that you must work. You need to work if you want to. You need to work to survive, to get the things that you need. Whereas what a socialist sort of utopia could look like is that you don't have to work to survive. You can your things are provided for you. So then if you take it down to things that are very, very simple, what must you do? You must eat, you must drink, you must sleep. Those are the core things of what you need to do to exist. And if then you can if you can bring all the things that you're telling yourself you should do down to that, which of course is very much easier said than done because of the capital society, or you might say, well, there are all these things I'd love to do, but I have to work. I have to work, and so I don't get to explore those things. And then when you get 2 weeks off over Christmas, then you go straight from maybe I don't have to work, but I've got this family thing and this work thing and all of these pressures. My family is we're creating a bespoke Christmas thing where we make a point not to be pressuring each other because we pressure ourselves enough. And then that means that we're free to just be the way we feel like being as we go, when cutting back on those pressures, so many of which are just toxic, and you should just cut out of your life as much as you can, as much as you're able to, which of course is easier said than done, more therapy session stuff. But yeah, just keeping that pressure away as much as could be possible. That's our approach to Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really interesting, and I think it's really important to recognize that. And I did actually have to talk to myself, because I'm one of these people who I love Christmas, really love Christmas, and I love gifting of presents. I love the spending of time together. I love the nice food, or very traditional Christmassy stuff. But I also put a lot of pressure on myself that has to be a perfect day and everything has to go perfectly. And I find myself kind of getting so stressed out in the run up that when it's done, I'm like, well, all of that whole month of misery for like one day, that even if it goes perfectly, it's not really worth it. And I think so this year I've promised myself that I'm not going to put that level of pressure on myself. And I think, I think quite a few people might be doing the same. I've heard from quite a few different places that there's a sort of, I think maybe it's the climate crisis and maybe it's the pandemic, but I think there are pressures now from the outside on us that are making people be more mindful about how they go into this season this time round. So so Alex,
Yes.
what do you think you'll be?
Well, it's an interesting one, really, because I've in my working life I've always had jobs that involve working over the Christmas period. So I've never really had a solid set of weeks off during that time. I always have one day on and off or here and there and cover times when everyone else is off, basically. So in terms of there being more time to game, I do not have that, but I have time like any other time of the year, really. But it's just new games. So I suppose there is that element to it. And we always have, like you say, we have a very traditional Christmas where everything's done in a certain order, and we have our own sort of traditions where we do things at certain times of the day. This year's going to be a bit different for me because I'll be going away and spending Christmas with my partner. So it'll be my first Christmas away from home, which will be an interesting and lovely experience, I'm sure. So that will change things as well. But yeah, I think generally I do obviously have slightly more time for gaming, but not as much as you would if you were to have a solid set of 2 weeks off. But yeah.
Oh, well, I hope you have a lovely time.
Thank you. Sorry, Matt, what were you going to say?
Yeah, go on, Matt.
I was just going to reiterate how fucked up it is that we're expected to go, you get 2 weeks, that's it. 50 other weeks of the year you work, and then you get 2 weeks off to fit in everything else in your life. Just every time I hear that, I have to remind myself, no, that's fucked up. That's not normal, just because we're taught.
Well, no, most people don't get... Anyway.
No, and I think, more often than not, the women are the ones who are expected to pick up the slack over Christmas as well.
Exactly.
So those 2 weeks of holiday that they get from their day job, they then spend running around and organising all the Christmas gifts and all the food and all the Christmas socializing. So yeah, I think that can be quite hard work for women because of the patriarchy. Just get that in there. I mean, interestingly for me, because my daughter goes to her dad's for a period of time over the Christmas break, I often have found myself with a chunk of time. And so for me, up until starting with Gaming the System last January, that was actually my one time of the year that I actually did any solid gaming, was Christmas. And so I was quite look forward to Christmas for the last 5-10 years. I have really enjoyed Christmas because that has given me a chunk of time, especially if my daughter was with me for Christmas and then away for the period between Christmas and New Year. I would then have that really quiet time where all that manic preamble was done, and I'd have a chunk of time where I could actually solidly game, which was something that I just didn't have at any other point in the year. So that's quite an interesting thing for me. But Caroline,
I have so much to say. I was trying to filter it and figure out which is the most relevant, but I'm just going with age.
No, just go with it all. We have time.
Right. Well, first of all, Alex, the first time I ever went and spent Christmas at a boyfriend's, on like Christmas Day at a boyfriend's, I discovered that their family tradition was to watch The Manchurian Candidate, which, God damn it, it's an awesome film, the original, obviously, but not exactly what I'd call Christmassy. So just be aware, other people's families have odd traditions, and that's just something you have to go.
I'm sure my own family has very odd traditions. I know from
exactly. We all think it's normal. And I mean, many lifetimes ago, I was a GP's receptionist, and as a childless single person, it was my job to do the Christmas shift. So I used to do all the Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, all those sort of emergency shifts, doing that. And it's like, so it's funny, it's like the 2 weeks over Christmas, it wasn't until I became a teacher that I was like, I've got this back. Every job I had in between, it was like, you're lucky if you get Christmas Eve off. And that trying to cram everything in. And as you say, Jem, it tends to be pressure on women, particularly in families, to do that. I mean, I know, but there's that thing of, I think that there is, so my partner, if you said to him, like, we should all send everybody Christmas cards, he's just like, it's a waste of time and paper and energy. Why do you do it? But I love sending Christmas cards. I love getting Christmas cards. I think it makes something special about the period. I like annually writing a little personal note to everybody that I care about. And so to me, it's something that's really important. So it's like, yes, I'm putting a bit of labor on myself there having to do it, but I think it's something worth doing. And I think that quite often when women are running around doing the shopping for the presents and the cards and the things, there's a lot of that sort of male sort of like, oh, you know, you're putting too much pressure on yourself, and absolutely you are, but it's what makes Christmas. It's what makes Christmas a nice time for us all, is the fact that just that little bit of effort's put in, and so it's worth having that bit of effort put in. But having said all that, of course, it's my mother who puts in more effort than anybody else. And Christmas Day has always, for me, been about gaming, because I'm very lucky and I usually get a new game. And I can think of so many Christmas days where we don't open presents till midday, because my sister's birthday is Christmas Day.
Oh.
And so it's her birthday until midday. We have some champagne, and then at midday, Susie, your birthday's done, right? Presents. Now, so we do get to open presents, and I can remember so many Christmas days where I got that game that I wanted, or I got that new console, or I got, and stuff. And then it's like, right, my mother will now spend 5 hours preparing a meal, and I'm going to sit here and play a game. And I'm a terrible person, and I feel horribly guilty about that. And it's not a good thing. But yeah, Christmas Day is massively associated with gaming. The last thing that I was going to say, though, is that what I found really interesting, and one of the reasons I think Jemmy was saying, like, Christmas is quite different this year for a lot of people. And I think last year really broke down what matters and what didn't, because obviously last year we weren't all able to be with the people we normally were. We weren't able to have all the parties that we normally had. I mean, in the past, I found Christmas quite, especially since I moved out of London, because it was, you need to go and see all your family members. And I come from a very big family. So it would normally involve like a whistle-stop tour of half of England and Wales as well. And going around and doing this and going this. And, oh, well, if you're here, you should see so-and-so. And, oh, you should do that. Whereas last year, it was the first Christmas day me and my partner spent together. And we had the most wonderful Christmas Eve, just got plastered and opened our Christmas presents at midnight. Ha-ha! Nobody can stop me. And we didn't have all those pressures that have been there in the past because people couldn't go there. We did do a Zoom quiz with my siblings at 11 o'clock on Christmas Day, which was, frankly, I was far too hungover to deal with. And like, really difficult. But I think this year when people are making their Christmas plans, they're going, all right, well, last year we didn't have everything. So what do we actually want out of Christmas? And I mean, I'm moving house this Christmas. All of my stuff is packed and I thought I'd be able to move before Christmas Day and I'm not going to be able to. So I'm just, God knows what I'm doing for Christmas Day. But that's the thing is what's important to me is that I know as long as I'm with the right people, my mother's ordered a duck. It's fine. We'll just, it's a standard thing, Matt. People have ducks on Christmas Day. But I think that it's that prioritizing what matters. And in terms of your original question, yes, I will be gaming.
I'm so excited to have heard all these different Christmases. I'm kind of intrigued to hear your. Are you all right, Matt? Do we need to call someone? I'm keen to hear your Christmas traditions, Alex, at some point. Yes. I think we've all sort of described very family oriented festive activities, and I think obviously that's many people are going to be spending this time, whether it's Christmas or Yule or Winterval or whatever, really. Yeah, whatever people are doing at this time, many people will be doing it with their family and friends. But I think it's also important, I think, to think about that. For some people, Christmas is quite a difficult time. It's quite a lonely time through choice or through circumstance. And, some people find Christmas very challenging when they're brought together with family that perhaps don't support or understand their life choices. And, we know people in the LGBTQI plus community who may find Christmas really challenging when they come in and they have to maybe leave their authentic selves at the door because of family prejudices and family, or difficult relatives that maybe we don't have contact with regularly that are there. And I think it can be a time that can be isolating, even if you're in amongst a group of people. And I wondered what your thoughts were really about how gaming what gaming can bring to that scenario, whether gaming can be an escape, or whether how gaming can throw into that mix. Caroline.
Well, I happen to know one friend who last year, because of the needing to bubble, had to go and spend a lot more time with their parents than they would usually do at Christmas. And they were quite daunted. You said that earlier, and I like the word daunt. I'm going to use it more often. They were quite daunted by the idea of a whole week staying with their parents. And their Nintendo Switch was the saviour. It was the ability to have that world that you could dip in and out of. They even played a bit of Animal Crossing, which is not their thing very much. But it was just, having Tom Nook tell you what to do was just a wonderful escape at that point. And I think the online communities, and we've talked about this before, is that like online gaming communities quite often get a rap for being toxic. And I would say for every toxic community, there is also a wonderfully supportive community. And there are some amazingly supportive communities out there. And that being able to access those people online and being able to say, just help me get away from this for a bit and shoot something, or gather some. I can't think of I was trying to say weeds, and I was trying to say another word at the same time, and it was coming out Swedes. And I don't know of any computer game where you collect Swedes as in vegetables.
I could recommend it though.
Not as in yeah. God, it's got away from me. Anyway, but I think, and we've talked about gaming is a wonderful, supportive place. Stopping there before I make it worse.
Well, I mean, I don't. I do have a lovely family, and I haven't spent many lonely Christmases. I've been very lucky, but last New Year's Eve, I did actually spend that on Animal Crossing, and I was on Animal Crossing at midnight when all the fireworks were going off, and I had my little New Year's Eve stuff going on. So, it's somewhere because going out to a party just wasn't an option that year, and so it definitely can provide a way for you to be part of something. And I've certainly logged into online games on Christmas Day, and it's been so much fun to see all your friends online and all be happy Christmas. So yeah, I think you can sort of escape some scenarios and have that space. What would you say, Alex?
Well, I just want to say it's a really good question that you've asked, and I think in my most recent job that I now have, part of it is looking after an online community, and being only within that community for 3 weeks, I'm now very aware of how much Christmas is, in fact, a very lonely time for a lot of people. So that definitely resonates. And I think that gaming is definitely a way for people to find solace and escape, and feel like they've got a safe place to go to. And it's certainly a safer way for people to escape those pressures than perhaps some of the other temptations of Christmas might be, like alcohol, for example. So I think it's really important to highlight gaming as a safe way to help yourself feel better and less lonely, and seeking out, to use your phrase, Jem, seeking out your tribe would be a really good thing to do. And just connecting with people you feel happy and safest with is a really good thing to do, and reaching out and not being afraid to reach out to those people that you feel comfortable with. Yeah.
Thank you, Alex. That's a really, really thoughtful response, actually, and I think it's it's good to know that there's somebody in that community who can understand that as well. Is probably going to be really beneficial for them.
Definitely.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? What are your thoughts?
I echo that this is a very, very insightful question. It made me think about that. I've been mulling around with the last 2 hours we've been talking, is the amount of pressure that is put on us, and that pressure is often typified as a fantasy of what should be. You should have the perfect Christmas day. You should be surrounded by people. You should be getting in touch with everyone, sending cards. Maybe you enjoy that, Caroline. But the amount of things that we're told that we should be doing and we spend all our time worrying about, rather than what I think would be best for everyone, is to be able to build a bespoke way of living for yourself, where you think, you know what, I'm not too bothered about Christmas, and there are plenty of my family who maybe you don't necessarily like. Maybe you think, I don't, speaking for myself personally, I am very comfortable when I'm on my own. I can go out, I can socialize, I can be around people, but when I'm on my own, in my room, playing a game, I am just, that's me, nice and comfortable. But it takes a lot of deprogramming in order for you to feel it's completely fine for me to be like this. I don't need to force myself to contort into this shape that this fantasy demands of me. And one thing that's awesome about modern day, particularly with technology and, again, a socialist thing of seizing the means of production, is that there is a million types of content for a million types of people. For example, our podcast, we found a couple of really avid fans who find this niche that we've created, and we give them something that they might not get in another place. I find this so much with podcasts. I always listen to a podcast or something like that, and it's that thing of you really feel, if you can feel connection to things, you can feel connections to people you've never even met, people you don't know, just people that you listen to. Mm-hmm. And those connections, you have to be able to trying to let go of that fantasy that the only connections that matter are ones like face to face with people. You can have connections with almost anything, as long as it resonates with you, then that's okay. And as it doesn't have to resonate with this fantasy that you have been fed your entire life. And I had a really, really nice way to flourish it off, but I've forgotten what it is. I'll say it if I remember it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks, Matt. Yeah, no, I think that was really, I think, the whole not feeling the pressure and owning what you want and, working towards that, I think is that all of that is really important sentiments, whatever that is actually. And I think if you're in a position to be able to work towards that, then that is something that, we should all be doing really as much as we can.
I've remembered my.
Well done, go Matt.
I've remembered my final point. It was just that you can't always rely on people. That's one thing that makes relationships so. That's what a relationship is. You can never truly know someone, but you put yourself out there and you learn about people and you build relationships like that. But they can always, anything can happen in a relationship. They can be hit by a car and then all of a sudden that's, and so anything can happen when it comes to relationships because it's not just you. And that always implies an element of risk. With games, with podcasts, with books, you can rely on them. They're a fixed point, something that brings reliability, brings comfort, which then gives you the space and the capacity to deal with things that have no certainty, because it's an uncertain world. But if you've got a stable, reliable base that you can attack that world from, that's what gaming can do.
Just to be flippant, having spent the last 2 months waiting for the Fun Pimps to release the update to 7 Days to Die, I would dispute that you can rely on a game. But anyway, that's just my problem with the developers of 7 Days to Die. So it's all right. It's out now. It's fine.
So, yeah, I feel like I don't want to just move on to more casual topics because I think that was such an important thing that we've been talking about, but I'm going to. So what I'm interested in is your favourite festive content in games. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be challenging for Alex and Matt because I think that this is more of a thing that we see in online gaming than we do in standalone games, but perhaps you might have had come across something in your gaming lifetimes. But I'm going to start with Caroline to give.
I thought you were going to leave me till last, but no, it gives more time to.
Well, I can leave you to last if you want.
Well, I mean, and again, we're going to talk about this a bit more in our deep dive. But I'm very excited about Animal Crossing because I only got it in July because I got it for my birthday, so that must have been July. And so I haven't seen winter in Animal Crossing, but I'd seen a lot on social media of winter in Animal Crossing, and I'm very excited about that. So that's like one thing. Shout out to my boys with Rust. Good old Rust, the most toxic game on the internet, but I still love it and I still play it. And they do put some really good, and it gets a lot of shit from the toxic community for the effort they put in every year for the Rust Christmas content, because you get a whole thing, and I'm hoping to stream some of it this month, where Santa turns up. Every day Santa turns up, and if you've got a stocking hung in your base, remembering this is a game where you start naked with a rock, and if you're lucky enough not to get killed by somebody with an AK-47, then you might be able to build yourself a tiny little hut, which the second you log off the game will probably be burned to a crisp. But you can put up a little stocking in the hut, and every time Santa comes past, the gift will be in there. And again, if you haven't been raided and killed and had all your stuff destroyed by a Zerg, then you will be able to keep that stuff. And there's a Christmas tree that you can put the things on. And genuinely, there have been some years, I've been playing Rust since, I've been playing Rust for 5 years, possibly even 6 years now. And there have been some years where our base in Rust is better decorated than our house at Christmas. And but it's genuinely felt cozy. You can put up a big fireplace and a Christmas tree and have teddy bears underneath it and the Christmas light. Although we can't have the Christmas fairy lights anymore. They were an in-game item that we bought for £1.50 or £2.50 the year they came out, and you can trade them on the marketplace, and they were only available for a limited time. And this year we finally agreed that since somebody was willing to pay £75 for them, it was worth selling them. So we've sold our Christmas lights. I know. People.
That's so fucked up.
I know. And it's for years it was no, look, yes, we can make a huge profit off it, but surely it's more fun. And then it was nah, we want to buy another game, so let's just sell the Christmas lights. Anyway, but yes, Rust's Christmas content, I think, for a game that has horrifically toxic fan base who turn around to the developers and go, "Oh, fucking role players, why are you pampering to them?" The fact that they persist in making it such a lovely Christmassy place in such a dark world, I love that about them. So yes.
I feel like we have to have an episode where we talk about that kind of money, real world online.
Oh, that terrifies me.
We're not going to do it now. We're not going to do it now because we're all about giving presents at the moment. So, who wants to go next, Matt or Alex?
Okay.
Yes, go.
Well, the Christmas levels and sections that I remember from games that I've played include Human Fall Flat. I think they had a wintry level, which was really fun. There was also, I've forgotten it now. There's holiday themed things in Assassin's Creed now. You can have festivals at your settlement where you are in England. And the latest one they've done is it's masquerading as a Oscaron or something, but it's basically Halloween. Because it's all creepy and they've made the settlement all misty and spooky and stuff. But I'm sure there'll probably be one for Christmas in an update at some point soon. And then the other one I was going to mention was more of a winter level, but it was in It Takes Two. If anyone's played that, it's really great. There's just so much in there and it's just so magical and lovely. So yeah, those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. But I always enjoy wintry levels because there's always snow and it's all just very pretty and magical and makes you feel Christmassy, so it's good. Yes.
I'm surprised you didn't mention any Harry Potter.
No,
Harry Potter games. Isn't there a Christmassy? Yes. I've not played any, but I'm hoping there would be a Christmas.
I can't remember. I don't think so. Not that I recall.
Oh,
if anyone else can jump in with any, if they can think of any in Harry Potter, I can't remember.
I'm just thinking, I think the Order of the Phoenix game has some sort of Christmassy things. Then I was trying to remember that there is some exciting new Harry Potter news, isn't there? It's on its way. There's a release date and there's a trailer. Unless I don't think I dreamt that it's coming out, but anyway, I'll put it on the Twitter account. But yes, and I'm sure there'll be some lovely seasonal content in that.
Awesome.
Matt, what's your favourite content?
The only one that's made an impact in my memory that I can think of is in Hitman. They have a like the Christmassy thing called Holiday Hoarders, and it's set in a museum turned into a model fashion show like setting, and it's Christmas, and it's all bedecked with Christmassy stuff, and you can hear jingle bells, and Santa Claus appears, and you couldn't kill him and take his suit. And it's basically a parody of Home Alone. It's the two characters who are sneaking around, and they're stealing, I think it's 12 different items. And one of the challenges is you need to go and steal all of the items before they find them, and then they'll return to the basement and compare notes. And then you have to, and then they go out to the outside, and you have to sneak behind them and shoot a propane canister and kill them. And just seeing
so festive.
the hitman has the most wonderful surreal element to it, because he's a hitman, but he can wear he still looks incredible in a Father Christmas suit. He's got the eyes. It's just a really nice, elegant bit of Christmas. I'm not particularly Christmassy, but I enjoy other people's enjoyment of Christmas.
Yeah. Alex, are you talking about games with a sort of Christmas feel to the snowy environment? Reminded me about Neverwinter Night, which it was a Baldur's Gate sequel, I think. It was, and that was mostly large portions of that was in the snow, and I will always in my head associate the two with Christmas, and I really like snowy areas and games for that reason. I just have a real thing. I mean, I think like Caroline was talking about Animal Crossing. It was so very Christmassy last year, and it was so much fun. And I didn't spend a lot of time there in Christmas at Christmas itself or in the run up to Christmas, but I did spend New Year there, as I said. So that was really fun. World of Warcraft actually had a huge amount of Christmassy stuff going on, and every year had different special outfits that you could wear, and you could change your mount into a reindeer, and there was sleigh bells in the distance and presents everywhere, and that would always feel very exciting and fun in the run up to Christmas. And I think for me, I went through, as I got a bit older, I went through a phase of like, oh, Christmas is just a lot of hassle and not a lot of fun. The magic had gone for me, I think, in some ways. And I would actually find that games have helped me to find that magic, little pockets of the sort of Christmas magic. And I suppose just a step into that other world. But so for me, I think it will probably be World of Warcraft and Animal Crossing of my favourite festive. I think Fortnite has some quite good festive content, actually. I remember seeing that when my daughter was playing. I quite liked, the outfits, and I think again you get dropped off by a Santa sleigh instead of an aeroplane and things like that. So that was quite fun.
7 Days to Die has a candy cane club, so you can beat zombies to death with that. So that's quite Christmas.
What's not to like about that? Yeah, that's very festive.
I have a lot more respect for games that do free quality Christmas content.
Yeah.
Because when it's games that make you pay for things that should already been part of the game, they are terrible, awful rubbish.
It's everything that's wrong with the world, really.
Mm-hmm.
Says the person who sold £75 worth of Christmas lights.
I benefited from it.
Yeah.
I know. No, but it is, and it's, as Jem says, that's a conversation for another day. Microtransactions in games, but it is. What's wrong with the world?
Yeah,
massive. So, what I mean, accepting everything that Matt has said about, the evils of capitalism and not wanting to encourage anyone overspending this Christmas, but recognizing that some people like to gift their friends or family things. What would be your suggestion for somebody wanting to give the feminist gamer in their lives something for Christmas this year?
Ooh.
I'm gonna go to Matt first.
Okay. The simple answer that ticks plenty of boxes is, say, a gift voucher to Game, probably is the best place, or the PlayStation Store. But Game is probably better because then you can resell things. Because then that says, I know that you're a gamer. I'm not going to buy you socks. I'm not going to buy you deodorant. I know you're a gamer. I don't have any idea what you game about. It's not my thing. But if I give you this, I know that you'll take it and you'll be able to get something that you like. And it would have been something that I gave you the resources to do. So I feel like that simple gifts given with a personal intent, those are the ones that are really, really touching. And to say just to celebrate. We talked with Candice about this in our intersectionality episode. Celebrate the differences in the people that you care about, things that you don't understand, which is one of the heartbreaking things about LGBT plus people whose families reject them, rather than saying, hey, I don't understand. I'm old. Maybe I don't understand non-binary. I don't understand this. I don't know that. But I know that it's you, and I see that. And so I don't know what to get you specifically, but I can give you the resources to help you find it yourself.
Mm. And
so I think seemingly simple things can be very, very powerful when you're giving it with that personal intent. That's what I'd suggest to give to the feminist gamer.
And I think that's good. Good choice, Matt. Alex.
I have no idea. I can't really play it.
It is a hard question.
Yeah.
It is a hard question.
It is a hard question because I think, like we all know, gaming is very what's the word? It'll come to me. Subjective. Yes, it's very subjective. So it very much depends on, like, again, also other factors like how much time you have to game, what other commitments you have in your life, etc., etc. So yes, it is very subjective. So ideally, as Matt said, a voucher would be the best gift. But I think if I had to pick a game, and it was someone who wanted, like, who was like not a gamer coming into gaming, I think we've already probably said this, but I would probably go for something like What Remains of Edith Finch, because it's like a story, but it's also a game, but it's like blending those two nicely together. So it's a nice introduction to gaming for people who might not be familiar with gaming and just want to see what it might be about. So yeah, that's kind of like the non-hardcore option, I would say. But yeah, it's really difficult to suggest because, again, it comes back to the age-old thing where it's like, who's gaming designed for? Primarily, probably not a lot of feminists, but that's what it is. So,
yeah. I think that's a really good point. And I think, that when you were saying that, one of the things I was thinking is gaming is such a personal experience, isn't it? So, it does, everyone's flavor is different, and you know, it's about tailoring it. But yes, you're right. You know, it's games are, although we have talked about how it's changing, but as it stands at the moment, gaming isn't very feminist in a lot of ways. So, you know, there is a struggle there, isn't there? I think of that. What about you, Caroline? What's your...
All right, I've narrowed it down to 3 answers, none of which are straightforward or helpful. The first thing I thought was the best thing I ever got as a gamer is my silent click mouse. It's a mouse that doesn't make a noise when you click it. And I have to say that, especially if you spend a lot of time with your partner in the same room playing different games, a silent click mouse, God, it's just so much less annoying when somebody else is playing a click, click, click game if they can't hear the click, click, click every time. So I'm just saying that as well worth it. What I wouldn't suggest, so we often talk about, when you brought up Edith Finch earlier, Alex, one of the other games we often suggest, and I'm not sure if I would or wouldn't. So finally, Her Story, we talk about a lot as being an amazing standout game, completely different from other games. I finally bought the next game from the people, Telling Lies, and played it. And it's always had mixed reviews on Steam, which is why I've never bought it before, but it was massively on sale. I thought I'll give it a go. First of all, I think the mixed reviews are unfair. I think it is a good game. I think it stands up, not as good as Her Story, but I think it stands up as its own game very much. But it was interesting from a feminist lens perspective that the story, I don't want to spoil or anything, because anyone who might want to play it or anyone who's played Her Story knows that the whole game revolves around not knowing what the story is and then finding out what the story is. But you can tell from the picture that the story revolves around 1 man and 3 women. Some would say there's a lot more than that going on, but I felt that none of the female characters really departed from the standard tropes of women that we've talked about before in the past. I'm not saying they were weak women, that they were like, you know, poor imitations of women, but they were still very much in those tropes. And I would have liked to have seen something beyond those tropes. And I think it disappointed me from that point of view. So that would be my, don't give that to a feminist. And my final answer of like, what are you going to give a feminist gamer? Sod gaming. Give her something from the Vagina Museum, because the Vagina Museum are an amazing organisation who do really important work. They're hugely trans inclusive. They're great feminists. They're proper intersectional feminists. But they had to lose their physical site this year in the last 2 years because of COVID and because of everything that's happened, and because they were in London and evil capitalism and landlords put prices up and stuff. So if you're looking for things to buy for the feminist in your life, I'm going to plug the Vagina Museum shop, because they have some really cool, awesome things on there, including vagina face masks, which are very cool, and lots of key rings and lots of nice little stocking filler stuff. And they are a great place to buy stuff from. So my final answer is the Vagina Museum.
Well said.
I love that answer. I think that's a good answer. What would I do? Well, for me, it's got to be anything with LED lights in, anything that's flashy and colourful. The more purple, the better.
Really?
My mouse. It just does this constantly. I love it. But a backlit keyboard, awesome. Then you can see in the dark. So that's what. But for my feminist gamer friends, it would have to be membership to the Women's Equality Party.
Hey!
It is a perfect Christmas gift, and it's environmentally friendly and politically excellent, and can be acquired by going to the womensequality.org.uk/join. Very easy. So yeah, that's what I would be getting my if all of my feminist friends weren't already members of this party.
You don't know anyone who's not a member of the Women's Equality Party anymore.
I don't know anyone who I haven't already tried to bring over to the light side. So there you go. Do we have time for any wild card? Is it there?
Well, it depends how far over the hour you want to go.
Quick ones. I don't know whether we have to count the intro in the hour. the hour or not?
I'd
Tell
say
us, Caroline, timekeeper.
Oh
of
no, I am
Gaming the
not. I am
System.
not the timekeeper. You guys normally run
Let's
over.
go for it.
You guys normally run over. It's me who's
Yeah. We
terrible
do.
about sticking to the hours.
I think you're very well behaved, and we're very naughty. So talking of naughty, I want to ask you a wildcard question that I'm not stalling for time because I haven't thought of one. Now, I would like to know what your favourite Christmas crackers, your favourite Christmas jokes. So, well, as I kicked off with one at the start, I can give you another one while you're all thinking, which is
Googling.
No, I can't. I've got a list here and I'm just like, no, I can't do that one. That's horrible. I can't do that one. What's every elf's favourite type of music?
I can't do these. I should be able to do these. I'm an intelligent person.
You know it's awful when I'm laughing at it. It's rap.
Oh God, that's terrible.
WRAP. Okay, so here's anyone got one that they can go? Matt's looking enthusiastic. Caroline's looking like she's
I know
got
the answer
something.
to one. I can't remember the question though.
Oh, I've just googled some. So, oh, actually, no. This is my favourite joke, but I've never done it as a what do you call a reindeer who can't see?
A no-eye reindeer.
No idea.
No idea, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure I used to do a non-Christmas version of that as a child. Because the next one was, what do you call a reindeer with no legs who can't? And it was still no idea. But anyway, sorry, I've ruined that one now.
No idea. It's an oldie but a goodie.
It's I'm sure of that. Alex?
Well, it might not be the right question, but I'll go for it. What cheese do you use to catch a bear?
Don't know.
Camembert. It's probably not quite the right question, but I could think of Camembert. I was like, what is it? I can't think. But yes, that one is. It's not strictly Christmassy, but I know it's a good.
I'm pretty sure it's found its way into a few crackers.
Camembert's Christmas food, right? People eat it at Christmas. Yeah.
Why is the turkey in the pop group?
Why was Turkey in the pop group?
Why was the turkey in the pop group?
I have no idea.
Because he was the only one with drumsticks.
Oh.
Oh no, Matt!
I'm giving
have
up
you
at
got
that point.
Save us from Caroline's jokes.
I'm a dry well when it comes to Christmas cracker jokes. But they're clearly doing what they're designed to do, which is to make everyone on the same page of going,
Everyone groaning.
That's what they say on QI. Their Christmas crackers are meant to make everyone go, oh, rather than make half the people go, and the other half go, Everyone's on the same page.
It's a leveler.
Oh, there you go. So crackers are bringing us together, just like gaming brings us together. And with that, I can bring this episode to a close. So I think we'd all like to send all our listeners a very happy festive wishes, and whatever you're doing and whoever you're doing it with and whatever you're playing, I hope it's a good one for you. And we'll see you all in the new year. Thank you very much. Bye.
Merry Christmas.
We hope you enjoyed that episode of Gaming the System. If you want to support us, you can donate to us through our PayPal by sending it to wearegamingthesystem@gmail.com if you want to send us a one-off donation. If you want to donate to us monthly, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/gamingthesystem. Until next time, bye-bye.